Good morning. Hey, it's 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. Hope you're doing well. It's 5:54. I've been up since like 4:30, but I've been looking at stuff and trying to get things working. And it is Wednesday, and it's what, a 262nd episode of our show. It's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting time. I am Greg Messer, Agile Coach and Scrum Master. We're here to talk about Agile Scrum in a tactical and practical way. I probably should make sure my phone's muted. Hold on. Ah! I'll make sure it's muted because otherwise I should get a notification. If everything's working right and I go online, right, theoretically you get a little notification from YouTube that says, hey, we're live. I don't see one right now. I thought this was all automated. I find it amazing that these online companies are not very online right now. And why their people can't work from home and why can't they support the system while they're not in the office. I'm very surprised about that, to be honest with you. You would think they would be. But anyway, we're here to talk about Agile Scrum and how you can use it to help your life in general and manage your work and get product and get valuable feedback from your customer, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It's one of my pet peeves going on. It's been a while. It's just growing. And balance work and life, right? So that you're not working crazy hours all day. And stay in your little caves and away from your family because now we're all stuck in their office and family wants to know where you're at because you're in there all day and we don't take breaks, we don't walk around, try to do some crazy stuff just because other people do it. So anyway, been interesting. So yesterday we talked about getting stuff done and getting in that condition, right? And I always talk about that because that's I believe in and having a done product's worth a lot, right, with the customer. Well, guess what I got to do the other day? I recommended it. I got to recommend canceling a sprint. I've done it a few times in my career. People are like, "Oh, that never happened." I was like, "I've done it, man. Done it a few times. I've seen where I've done it. I've seen one example. I interviewed with a company a long time ago, and I really respected the guy. He would have the feds had to come and do an audit every once in a while. He knew his dev team would be responding to report requests and need this and need that data, and they're just going to be on the fly reporting. So he would cancel the sprint because the audit team was there. I had a lot of respect for that person. Actually, I kind of wanted to work for them, but I had another opportunity that I couldn't pass up. Otherwise, I would have worked for them because I like the fact that he thought about the people and it didn't make sense to put all that pressure. And I applied the same amount thought process too. So we're going to talk about canceling a sprint. And then one pet peeve that I have about help desk and this DevOps world that we're going to, and the excuses people get. So the other day, something came up from the CEO of the company or federal government for our work. We wanted to implement. They wanted to do it right away. And I noticed that managers came down and took all the people. And they made them do on the special project because they had to get it done. And there's other things going on. I can see. I'm not oblivious to what's going on. Been around doing this for over 30 years. Not like I don't know. So they took all the people. And I got to the point where I said, "Hey, look, it makes sense to cancel the sprint, right? You're not going to get any of this dev work that you normally want to do because 2/3 of your team, if not the entire team, is out working on this hot project the CEO said because of this coronavirus that we got to get done, right?" And they all look at me, "Well, we can't cancel a sprint." I'm like, "Yes, you can. Cancel the freaking sprint." And they're arguing with me. "Well, we don't really want to cancel. We just want to say, well, cancel and put it up, blah, blah, blah." And this is where I disagree from the Scrum Guide. And because I wanted to read the Scrum Guide before I came on this show. And I'll read the part about the product owner having the right to cancel a sprint, which is always a question on the exam, by the way. Who can cancel a sprint? It's the product owner. It's all on every test. What they said, it's not done a lot because, quote, it leads to trauma to the Scrum team. I would argue not canceling the sprint adds more trauma, more stress to the Scrum team, then canceling the event. And why I say you don't do it on a whim, like, oh, it's canceled every day, because there are administrative burdens, figuring out what you need to do and things like that. But there are times when you need to do it. It depends what the reason behind canceling a sprint. Are you canceling a sprint because right now this has more value to the company? And if we don't do it, we're all going to get fired anyhow. That's one kind. And the other kind is like, repeated work, little business as usual type work, right? So you really got a whole new product line that you got to drop in. So it's a new dev product, right? So there's nothing wrong with canceling a sprint you got, because we need to get this other dev product done to the customer right now, right? We have to get it done. Where I see companies mess up and where they can meet stress, they go, we want you to still do the dev product that we had planned, plus we want you to do the other thing, which violates every rule in Scrum, right? It violates everything. You're overcommitting, you're putting all this stuff, and you're putting all these extra stresses on your team. My argument, doesn't it de-stress the team more if you acknowledge the fact that you got a hot item you got to do and you want to cancel the sprint, so it takes the stress off the team? So I personally would be thankful. I'm like, thank you for taking that requirement off of me to get our normal dev work done while we're in the middle of this hot item that we have to fix. I would be more appreciative as a dev team, because that means you think about us and you're not trying to get us to do both things at the same time. So I would fundamentally argue in a small way against the Scrum guide. They can argue with me all they want. I said, there's times you don't go and say, here's what we planned, all of a sudden in the middle of the sprint, this has to happen, like the pandemic. I mean, come on, man, stuff happens. Or your competition just dropped a deal out of a lifetime that's going to suck half your customer base away. You need to be react. You need to say, screw what we had in the pipeline and what we're going to do in the sprint. We got to stop that now. We got to revamp our software or whatever to offer the product line and compete against our customer. And we got to do it. I mean, our competition, we got to do it now, because in this IT world, man, a day, 2 days max that you have time to react to what your competition does. You might have to do that, right? Hopefully you've built a system that allows you to react and you don't have to do a lot of recoding of stuff, but you got to be able to react in like 2 days. There are times when you got to cancel the sprint. So the Scrum Guide, which was written back in 2000 or something, right? The original one. I don't know, they have updated it and they've done it, but to say it's trauma, I said it's more trauma if you don't get your head out of your ass and say, we got to cancel our sprint. I know we planned this, but we got to do this other thing. And here are the requirements. Here's as much of the requirements we got. And we got to develop this and test it and put them in. And we got 2 days to get it done, right? And if you did a sprint, maybe it's 2 days, and then the other thing, you got to make sure things don't break afterwards, or at least get the MVP in to meet the requirement in, right? Get the MVP in, and then add the rest of the stuff that you need to do, but at least get the bare minimum working. Then you take the rest of the sprint, button down the hatches, make sure all the code's working, make sure you didn't violate anything, right? And get the compliance or whatever you got to get done. So it's going to take a whole sprint. It's going to take the rest of the sprint. Sometimes you got to do it. And my argument again is that sometimes you need to cancel a sprint to save the team, right? I don't think it's fair to make them do the additional thing and put the stress and burden of your existing sprint plan that you had in the system. Now, one thing I will say, I see a lot of teams will go, well, we'll just abandon the concept of Scrum and how we do it and how do we work. And well, no. When you get those hot items and when you really want to use Scrum, you really want to get multiple people in there so that your solution works right the first time and doesn't come out broken out of the gate. And that's where another we can talk about that tomorrow. Maybe I'll put that on Friday's thing, but they go throw it out the water, throw out the window, have chaos erupt in how they want to deploy things, and things don't work, right? So now I want to just talk about canceling sprint. Again, I wanted to read what the Scrum Guide said. It says it increases trauma. You don't want to do it often because it adds trauma to the Scrum team. But again, I would say that not canceling it puts more stress on the Scrum team. So with that, my next item DevOps. I know the core of a DevOps and why it didn't, and I think we all abused the hell out of DevOps and what we really wanted to do. I find it also interesting that a lot of these systems, like I was on LinkedIn, I wanted to send a help note, a feedback thing. I can't find a freaking button to send feedback in on something that's not working. I like YouTube. YouTube, at least if you want to do a help thing, you can snap it and it works and it doesn't work. Some places it works really well and some places it doesn't. And I like the fact that they allow you to give them feedback on things broken. I don't think they ever reply to you on that feedback. I don't think there's no feedback loop mechanism. That's why I wonder with the Agile and Scrum, I can send you stuff in, but you never tell me whether or not you fixed it. LinkedIn, they have totally obliterated the help button. I don't know how you give feedback when things don't work. I even pay money in that service, which is another thing which kind of gets me kind of PO'd. I pay you money, but I can't tell you something's not working in the system, and I don't know if you see it because I think you're blind as a bat, right? So I find it interesting a lot, and they're not a company, and I know I'm picking on LinkedIn because it just pinged me out this morning because I spent like a half hour trying to find a freaking how do I submit feedback button and get you guys to work on an issue. I can find old issues, but I think you just totally obliterated the ability. And then this thing with when working remotely, and I don't get it. If you are a remote company, why people can't still fix the code unless you got some super secret space age thing that you have to eyeball into your system to be able to do a code change to your product line. Never know. But you know what? LinkedIn is Microsoft now. Maybe that's the problem. Microsoft's notorious not to get feedback from the customers. Maybe that's maybe I just realized that's right. Got bought out freaking Microsoft. But not even that. My local church, whatever. I messaged them and told them, hey, your feedback button. I was going to give you feedback. Your little board that you do for security doesn't work anymore. I had to send them a Twitter message. I still don't. I got to go follow up and see if they did it. But they gave an avenue, but they didn't even provide email address. They don't provide nothing. Great. You took out the email because you don't want to get spam, so you created a form, but your form's not working. You don't test it. You don't check it. But that's the key of like Scrum and Agile, man. It's like you get the feedback loop from your customer and you adjust your stuff. I mean, it is what we do. And do we fix it by saying, you know what? We're doing really great because we don't get any feedback from our customer anymore that we're doing bad because you took the freaking help button away. Maybe that changed your stat and your metrics. Just saying. You take away the ability to provide metrics and you're like, it's like that Dilbert cartoon. There's a Dilbert one. The manager comes in. I gotta watch my spiky hair because my spiky hair will come out right when it grows. I think I have to cut it myself. But he says, "Well, we cut down all the costs, all the overhead costs for the company. We're saving lots of money. Yeah, you fired everybody, so there's no one here to do any work anymore. But I cut down all the costs. I took care of it. We fixed it. We fixed the problem. I got rid of it. But now we're not making any profit, no revenue. But I saved money, right? So what I see going on in this world, in the DevOps world, why it's abusive. The whole purpose behind DevOps is to combine support, the operational side, the support side, with the dev team, so people are responsible. So they decided they fixed it by getting rid of the support side and just make it all dev. And then there's opportunity for the feedback from the customer. So we really improved DevOps by getting rid of the operational side of the business. It's like, no, the original purpose was to get the operational so you get customer feedback into the dev side so that it works better for the customer. That's why you created DevOps. It ain't so you eliminate feedback from the customer. And it's not so you eliminate the ops part. We're just going to make it all dev. We're going to call it DevOps. Get rid of the operational side. We're just going to do dev. You guys are freaking nuts. You don't have a freaking clue what you're doing. The idea is that dev would never listen to customer feedback, so you incorporated it in the operational side. So they had to listen to customer feedback because the two people were in the same room all the time. But I just laugh how they don't get it. Anyway, maybe I went on a rant. We're at the 15-minute mark, so we're down to the 15-minute, the daily scrum and time box. And I just want to say, hey, it's Thursday. I'm glad we got off tomorrow, but it's been an interesting week. See how it goes. I will be here every day. Still Friday, Saturday. Tomorrow is Fortune Cookie Friday. Good Friday for Christians around the world. Happy Good Friday. I think Passover started. Happy Passover for Jewish friends. And you know what? Keep it happy. Have some fun. Keep on scrumming. And happy scrumming. Take care. Bye. Enjoy your day. See ya.